so this is one of these question and answer things that I've been asked to do. I have no idea what the questions are. I'm hoping that they're all nice. Right, so if I do view more comments. Right, let's start with the first one from, forgive me for getting this pronunciation one, Mateus Jugovic. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I've had this question before. It would be, that's right, one horse-sized duck, because it would be easy just to hide under its belly while it's trying to stamp on you. Whereas 100 duck-sized horses, all like, no way. Any plans to tour the USA from Nick Panda? Plan? Yeah. It depends how you define plan. We're definitely desperate to get to the USA. It's just, how do we do it? Even the bands that I know, like Catatonia and Opeth, it's a struggle to make, maybe not with Opeth now, with a crack USA, but it's hard to tour all around the USA, to play to everybody that you want to play to and make it work money-wise. But our manager is looking into it, so hopefully 2015. Asikan Kalatas, that's a good name. Are you going to compose longer prog epics like Remember Us or What We Have Sown with future albums? Also, what would be your advice for brand new musicians? The new album is awesome, by the way. Great. I used to write long songs, and gradually the songs have sort of done that. Yeah, I don't give it any thought, to be honest. The new album has got shorter songs, but I didn't sit down and go, right, no long songs. It's just the way that the songs came together. So no, don't rule it out. And what would your advice for brand new musicians be? Listen to advice from people that have done it, and the key thing is just to believe and have confidence in yourself. And never give up. Columbia Jones, do you think you will ever make it to the US to tour? We will. The more people that shout, the more likely we will be to get there. This is from Rachel Heaton, who happens to be my sister. Why do you always forget my birthday, little rock god brother? Yeah, I do, but I've written it into my phone. It's going to beep the day before your birthday, and I will not forget it. April 11th. What do you consider TPT's best album to be, and why? That's from Finbar Summers. That's a really good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. I have no idea. A lot of them mean things for me in different ways. Little Man is a special album for me. Variations was a special album because that broke us through in a relative way from complete nobodies to underground almost nobodies. But to be honest, the new album is the one that I enjoy listening to the most. Right, this is from Daniel Haytu. Wisdom of Crowds 2, when? It's definitely happening. It's really down to Jonas more than me, because he's so busy releasing Bloodbath, and I've got a feeling there's a new Catatonia on the way, but we are talking about it, and it will happen hopefully next year, if not early 2016, but it will happen. Right, next question. Daniel Milford Flanagan. How can Norway ever repay you for the crappy audience you got at the Oslo concert on the Unwound tour? Oh, thanks. Were you there? Well, to be honest, back in those days, to be able to go to Oslo, and it was great just to be there, and for you to be there and to remember it, so you don't need to repay me. Steve Montgomery. Has there been any plans to play in the US again? Is there a reason why the Pile of Thieves only played, I think, 2 gigs in the US? Yes, money. We sell more records in the US than anywhere else apart from the UK, so we have to go. Bruce Norris, how do you cope with the weight of having such an awesome name? We're trying to think how many, who your favourite rock Bruces are. There's Bruce Springsteen, Bruce Dickinson, and obviously me and you. It's hard, but I do like it. Rob Graff. Why don't you wear leather trousers anymore? I never wore leather trousers, Rob, but maybe I should buy some. Fred Buckley. Any plans for a live DVD Blu-ray release? I would love to have the Pineapple Thief on my big screen at parties. Yes, the one thing that is painfully missing, we have no DVD. Do not go on eBay and try and find the DVD that I did on a camcorder in our early days, please. But there will be one. I will speak to the guys at Kscope. Andy Pasty, are you planning to do a live concert DVD? Yes. Patrick Whitmore, when will you tour the US again? I like in all these US. You're the 4th person, I think, that's asked for the US, so that's a crowd. We're definitely coming. Krista Carlson, can you describe how you wrote We Love You? Because the track got pretty much everything. It was because it was the end of album track. a bit like Bond on the end of Magnolia. I approached it with the idea to build and capture everything that I wanted to capture and have that sort of euphoric outro. So I don't know. I don't know what inspired me to do that. Jonas Kangas. Magnolia is magnificent, thank you. I think I've listened to it 15 times since the release. Where do you believe the Pineapple Thief will be in 5 to 10 years, musically stroke commercially? Musically, I have no idea. That's the most exciting thing about being an abandoned songwriter, is that I don't approach new albums thinking, I've got to do this, we have to do that. Commercially, if we still have fans and we can still tour, then that's all I want. Chris Rollison, what is your favourite Pokemon? I don't have one. I could tell you what my favourite, what's the other? Probably tell you my favourite Digimon. Citrus Boy or Citrus Man. He's a massive lemon, basically. Will you be on the next cruise to the Edge? Please. We were talking funny enough about this today. We had such a great time. This year's Cruise to the Edge, which we played, we were actually still finishing tracking the album. So in between playing, I was recording vocal overdubs in the cabin, and then we were doing the gig. So it kind of spoiled it a bit for us because we were working, not having a holiday. I think we should be there again. Yeah. Tell them. Krista Carlson, I do apologise for everyone if I'm mispronouncing your name. I would like to ask you if you prefer drop D tuning when you write songs. Yeah, most of the songs on Magnolia were drop D. I don't really go in for crazy tunings. Simon Webster, what sort of bands do you listen to and who are your musical influences? I listened to all kinds of 70s rock when I was a kid because I was growing up in the Stock Aitken and Walkman era, so I rewound to the 70s and discovered prog. But I listened to all kinds of stuff. My favourite album, I'd say, apart from Dark Side of the Moon and Crime of the Century, would be Beck's Sea Change. And, I love the Biffy Clyro and broad spectrum. When I was 19 with my Vulgar Unicorn friend Neil Randall, I was in an extreme metal band called Dominus. So, we were listening to Celtic Frost and Entombed, all that kind of stuff. So it's a massive range, really. Best album this year, I'd say, would be Opus' new album, which I'm really enjoying. Cesare Augusto Giorgioni. God, that's a great name. Are you Italian? Giorgioni. Is it possible to ask you to mix or master a record? Yes, definitely. I love working for other bands. Just get in touch via the website. Ricardo Garcia. Do you have in mind a tour in the USA? It must include Texas. Yes, we're planning on USA and definitely Texas. Where in Texas? David Rice. Okay, 2 questions. 2. The insert inside Magnolia listed the album Abducted at Birth. Does this mean that the re-release with the original title is coming out soon? Yes. It will be coming out early next year with a bonus disc of a lot of other unreleased songs from the times. Looking forward and a little bit scared about rewinding to 1999. And the other question, 2nd, when are you going to make a DVD or come to Kansas City, Missouri for a concert? Kansas, Texas? Yeah, it's on the way. Let's go. Chantal Simon, when and will you ever do another album with Jonas Rensky? Soon, as soon as we can. Get on to Jonas and tell him. Ian Harvey, do you think you're as good a band as Ocean Size? No, incomparable. Tom Persone. Hi Bruce and all the band. Hello. Your texts are usually pretty short. Yeah. So is there a general pattern in your composition process? Yeah, lyrically it is quite minimalist. But generally the songwriting process starts with a guitar. There's always a theme for the song. I will jot phrases down, but the words do come later. Yeah, so in summary, anything's possible with songwriting. That's what makes it so exciting. Don Claxton, what was your first gig like and when was the most important gig TBT ever performed? The first Pineapple Thief gig was at a skittle alley up the road in a place called Sherborne down here in southwest UK, and it was Road P and there weren't very many people there, but I remember it was a brilliant feeling to play live. I think the most important gig we ever did was in the Netherlands. It was the first time that we'd stepped up from playing pubs, skittle alleys, rooms in the back of pubs, and we actually played a proper venue. And we turned up, the promoter had a dressing room, and it was like, dressing room? What, we'd never have a dressing room. The dressing room had a fridge full of beer. They cooked us dinner, and 300 people turned up, which for us was like, right, there are people out there that want to see us. We can move up from playing to your mates in the pub to actually being a proper touring band. So I do remember that. Phil Evans, will there ever be another podcast? I haven't thought about it, but never say never. Ulrich Redditch. Hi Bruce, what about having a beer together at the Oberhausen show on November the 20th? Definitely. After the show, come and find me, and you can buy me a nice German beer. Is there any chance to TPT to tour South America, especially Mexico? Watch this space. We are actually talking to a promoter in Mexico City. So yes. Ivan Flores. Hey Bruce, what is the possibility that TPT would come to Mexico? Well, yeah, that's 2 people, so it's getting higher. Declan Lamore Boyle. Who do you consider to be your music idol? The main inspiration behind you chasing your progressive dreams? If I had to pick one, the Alan Parsons Project, only because that was the album that got me excited about music, Tales of Mystery Imagination. Paul Agawa. Bruce, many of your songs are in 7 instead of 4, yeah. Do they start that way from the song's infancy, or is it something that progresses from 4 to 7 over time? My head hurts. 7 sounds so natural to me. I remember the first song I wrote in 7 was on Little Man, and then since then, I just found myself writing riffs. I don't count, it's only afterwards that I realise, oh yeah, it's in 7. No, I do enjoy 7/8 though, and 7/4, however you count it. Is there any chance of you coming to Brazil, says Diego Perez Camargo? Yes, there is a chance. If we get to Mexico, then surely we can keep going south. Jin Young, all I got to say is your new album is a masterpiece. Thanks a lot. I have to be honest with you, I got a free listen of your new album, but after hearing how incredible it was, I bought it outright. Thanks. Yeah, people always ask me about illegal downloads, but it's there. Home taping was there in the 70s. Like you said, if people hear us, then they come to a gig, buy an album, buy a t-shirt, then that's the job done. Xavier Jones, where do you see your band in 5 years' time in terms of music and the evolution of your band? No idea where I'm going to be. That's what keeps me motivated. Raphael Roldan, will you ever come to Brazil, South America? Definitely. It's getting more and more likely the more of these questions I read. Who was Clapham written about? That's a good question. Clapham was written when I came back from abroad and I was waiting at Clapham Junction Station in London, and my father called me on the phone and told me that one of my best friends had just died very suddenly, and it was very shocking and sad and tragic, and that's what it was about. And he also asked, if you were to do an album of covers, which artist's music would you choose? Are you going to do any Wisdom of the Crowds tracks on the Magnolia tour? I think I'd cover Beck. And no, we're not going to do any wisdom tracks on tour. We could barely got enough time to do any the Pineapple Thief ones we want to do. Matt Duncan, why did the Pineapple Thief only ever write one masterpiece song called Too Much to Lose and write a bunch of other songs that are just okay? I'm sorry, I guess that, I used up all my energy on one masterpiece. I'm glad you like that one though. David Morissette, I remember you. David Morissette, by the way, got us over to France in 2004. One of the first gigs we ever played in Europe, so owe him a lot. What were your feelings before, during, after your first gig in France? In 2003? 2003. Before? Terrified. During? Terrified. After? Very proud. The French audience was then and always has been fantastic. So we were playing as the sun set, and it was the venue was by the sea in Palais-sur-le-Mer, and it was, I'll never forget it. Matthew Jones, if you could have a dream team band with anyone dead or alive, who would it be? Just too hard. I can't. I'd be here for hours. Tell you what, whenever this gets put up on YouTube, I will answer this question in text underneath because I need to think about that. Sven Bruce, looking back on your career so far, do you feel like it's been what you expected it to be? Do you ever allow yourself to dream of life you're living right now when you were just at the very beginning? Yeah, I do. That's a really good question. I have no idea what I expected myself to be. I remember when I bought my first guitar, all I wanted was to do a gig in my local pub. If I could go back in time and tell myself when I bought my first Marlin Sidewinder guitar that this is what I'd be doing, I'd laugh, because I'd say that would not be possible. So yeah, it's amazing. And that's it. Thanks very much for all the questions. It was brilliant to do this. I've never done it before. See you soon, keep shouting, and hopefully we'll come to a place near you soon. So thanks a lot.